C has the basic mechanisms for expressing computations. It has iterations, it has data types, it has functions, and that's it. It doesn't get into the game of expressing abstractions. So if I want a matrix in C, I'll have to say I want an array, and then I want a whole bunch of arrays, and then when I want to get the third element, I have to program my way down to the third element of the first row or something like that. In C++, you can define something called a matrix. You define a subscript operator. If you don't want rectangular matrices, you can get band diagonal matrices, triangular matrices. That's the kind of stuff that people, the expert in that field, are interested in. And you build that set of concepts, and then you program it directly. It's easier to program, it's easier to debug, and sometimes it's even easier to optimize for performance when you're expressing the notions at the higher level, at the level where an expert in the field operates, rather than trying to have the expert in the field, say the physicist, also be an expert in dealing with the hardware, with the computer. There's fields still where you have to have a physicist and a computer scientist to get the work done, but we would like to minimize those because the skill sets are not the same. So you want to lift from the hardware towards the human level. This is somewhat controversial. I think it is obsolete. I think the languages should have been merged into one so that C would have been a subset of C++ instead of nearly a subset of C++. And then people could have used whatever parts of the C++ toolset they needed. As it is now, there are still enough incompatibilities that you have to remember which language you're writing in. And I don't think that is necessary. It's appears to be a historical necessity, but it's not a technical necessity. I've argued for compatibility, very strong compatibility, all the time. I mean, I started working on C++ 3 doors down from Dennis Ritchie, and we were talking every day. It's the competition and tension that has been between C and C++ over the decades certainly didn't come from home. Dennis Ritchie wrote that first book with Brian Kernighan. I'll have dinner with Brian next week. We're still very good friends, as we've always been. But sometimes the programmers of the languages don't quite see it that way. This should have been one language.